What's good, everybody? So in this video I'll be going over the top 5 mistakes that beginner clothing brand owners usually make. So if you guys do not know, which I'm sure most of you do not, I am a clothing brand owner myself. I own currently 2 clothing brands. Second one I'm working on right now is called Thrifted Denim. I want to say the first one was a failed clothing brand, but we didn't do as well as we'd like on that first drop that we did this past summer. But yeah, I own this clothing brand right here called Thrifted Denim. This t-shirt is dropping in October, and yeah, this is actually my first YouTube video on this channel. I really just wanted to start it to help out other clothing brand owners and just to build a community around a bunch of other like-minded people that do the same stuff that I do. So that is the reason for doing this and for starting this channel, and I hope you guys can learn things. And without further ado, let's get straight into the top 5 mistakes that beginner clothing brand owners make. Starting off at number 5 is paying for promo from IG like micro influencers on their story and on like their page in general. So if you're paying for them to repost one of your like pictures from your page onto their page on their like their story for like, if they say like for like 3 hours or like even if it's for 24 hours, either way, this is not something that you are going to be wanting to do. Now, influencer promo is good in many ways. Just do a normal influencer promo where you're paying to send out a piece to a influencer for them to wear your product, for micro influencers, for big influencers, whatever. That's fine. That's good promo. What you don't want to do is pay for promo for these guys. Like, they can have 50,000 followers on IG and you're paying them to pretty much post your post on their story for like 24 hours. Now, when I first started my clothing brand, this was a mistake that I made. I paid like $50-$60 for this influencer to post my picture of like just a flat lay of like one of my jackets on his story. And even though he had a lot of followers, these followers were not following him to see that kind of stuff. He posted, and it's bad enough when they post like, oh, this is going to be promo this next few hours, and then your post on there. Nobody that is following him is going to be following him to see that. You get what I'm saying? So this is not a mistake that you want to do. So that's what I'm telling you right now. So you do not do it. Now, in some cases, obviously, if you have a big person with like millions of followers, then you might want to invest in that. But I'm talking about these micro influencers. Number one, nobody is following them to see your stuff. And also, it is just a bad investment in general, because I've tried this in the past and I got pretty much no engagement. I got like 5,000 more views on the post because it shows up like that if somebody views a story that you post on. But besides that, there was no engagement. So this is not something that you want to do. Alright, so number 4 is taking low quality pictures of the garments or of the item that you're trying to promote. If it's like your first drop and you're promoting a t-shirt and you're taking like some weird like low quality picture, I don't know exactly, but if it's like just very bad pictures that aren't showing the product, and if there's like no aesthetic around it. Also, what can also go into this is if you're posting mock-up pictures of the picture that you just edited a design on and it's not even in your hand yet. This is not something that you want to do either. Obviously, if you already have a big foundation built for your clothing brand, this is something that you want to do, but that's why this video is called for beginners. So if you're a beginner, this is not what you want to do, because most people have seen millions of mock-ups. They do not want to see any more of that. They want to see the actual product in hand before they even want to think about making a decision whether they want to buy it or not. So this is pretty much another thing that you do not want to run into, because you're just going to be wasting your time, right? You're posting a picture of a mock-up with a design on it, and half the time they're not even realistic mock-ups. It's just not going to be a good feed post, and it will have little to no engagement if you're just starting off. So that's what I would say for that, and that's why number 4 is taking those type of pictures is just going to be a waste of time. So number 3 is just flat out having a bad product. So I have ran into this issue a couple of times in the past. The most recent time was earlier on this year when I was still trying to figure out the whole clothing brand game out, and I had this zip up, which I did think was a decent zip up, and it was one of those things where it would have been hard and have sold a year and a half ago. It was like a Hellstar looking design on the side. I wouldn't say Hellstar, but it had that flame design, that a lot of clothing brand, like upcoming clothing brands have. It was tough. The designer did their thing with it, but it just wasn't something that was gonna sell a lot. And like the color wasn't that good. It was like a beige weird color with like blue and red designs on it and wording, which had a good message. It said trust in God's plan, but it just wasn't, none of it looked like it meshed together well. And then even the sleeves, the ends, like the cuffs were really weird. So I just ended up giving the sample to my cousin and scrapping it all together. I almost spent all my money on a bulk order on that, but thank God I didn't. But that's why number 3 is just having a bad product. Now, how will you know if you have a bad product? So a good thing to do is to engage in Discord servers and post your product anywhere, or post your like sample or mock-up anywhere that people could give you feedback on it. You could go on Reddit, you could go on Pinterest, but not as much. That's just more for like showcasing the product. But if you're trying to get feedback, I would do Discord, Reddit. There's Instagram, just people you know, friends that are into the same type of clothing that you're selling. All those things in general are great things to know whether the product you're selling is going to be right or not, or is going to sell in general. So that's why having a bad product is my third on the list. Number 2, we have on Instagram Reels or TikTok, posting generic, repetitive, content that people have seen a million times and with no creativity whatsoever. So what I mean by this is, I can probably show an example on the screen as well. Posting content so played out, so overdone in the past. So like an example of this is where like if you just post a video, it could be of anything, a person like a model just in the shirt, in the hoodie. Now if you post like certain different captions, videos have blown up before, but it's just it's something that's going to take a lot of time to do if you post those every single day, of just like a boring caption like where it's just saying, dropping this hoodie, what do y'all think of it, let me know, this hoodie I'm dropping, like all that type of stuff. And it's just a normal reel with nothing creative or crazy going on in it. That stuff it would take a lot of time to do and to spread organically. If you're doing organic marketing, that is something that's going to take a long time to pay off, pretty much. Even if you're posting 2-3 times a day. Now if you are, it is still good to do that. Post all the time. I will tell you that right now. Post a lot if you're especially organically, before you start putting ads on your stuff. Now you want to have good posts though, high quality videos. Sometimes I would even say it's better to have a high quality video showcasing the garment in some type of way, rather than that same video with a caption over it that says something like, which line of numbers has this number in it. So it'd be like 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 3 4 5. So it's just like stuff that has nothing to do with your clothing brand, and stuff that is only going to go viral if it ever does, because it's this stuff that takes a long time to go for the wrong reasons. So that's why it's important to make sure that you're creative. If you're doing a promo video, be creative with it. You're not wanting to do the same stuff that every clothing brand owner is doing and stuff that is played out already, because you're an upcoming clothing brand. People don't know who you are, so it's best to be creative and really make every piece of content that you do for your specific targeted audience in your niche that you're planning to go into. And that brings us into our last point. Number 1 is just not being in a niche and not having like a brand meaning. So what I mean by this, so for example, my brand is called Thrifted Denim. The niche in that is like people that listen to, I guess you could say, like underground music and are into like the whole style of like vintage looking type clothing. They're into rock music, all that type of, that fashion type of ask. And then my brand meaning is pretty much just stay true to yourself to truly fulfill your purpose, right? So you gotta have like a meaning, a story behind like why you started your clothing brand and all that stuff. There's a lot of examples that brands do, like reasons why they started their brand. You just have to have like a certain type of aesthetic. You have to build a community. Building a clothing brand is not about just making cool clothes, because that is a good reason, but it's way too broad. It's just not about just making cool clothes, cool designs on them. I started a clothing brand because I want to make money. No, you gotta have more of a meaning and a reason for that. I started a clothing brand because I've always been into fashion. I love clothes. But besides that, my aesthetic, I told you my aesthetic, and the whole meaning behind it is just to, know that you're destined for more and to fulfill the true purpose that you have and not care what anybody else thinks about it. And that's pretty much what the Thrifted Denim is, and you gotta have that, because that's when people will start coming in and supporting your brand. Anyways, this was the top 5 mistakes that beginner clothing brand owners make. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and DM us on Instagram. My brand Instagram is thrifteddenim.us. It will be in the description down below, and I believe I will probably be starting a Discord server too for just clothing brand owners in general. So if you want to be a part of that, leave a comment, and yeah, pretty much. But make sure y'all subscribe. I will be posting a lot more of these type of videos for just clothing brand content in general, film behind the scenes of clothing brand content, and really just build a community with y'all, because that's what I really want to do, getting into this whole thing. And I think it's awesome that we all on the grind, and making clothes and all trying to grow. We all trying to grow at the end of the day. If y'all watch this long in the video though, I hope y'all have a great day or night wherever everybody is at watching this, and I will be posting way more videos to come. Hope y'all have a good one, man. Peace out, y'all.
Okay, cool. You wanna be my little boo? I can Bands, we bought too. She said she get money too. That's her shit that I'm into.